While in the midst of the American Revolutionary War, right in the thick of the fight for independence from Great Britain, the leaders of the colonies were working on a way to create a country that worked without having a monarchy. You know, a king or a queen. Just in case they actually defeated Great Britain, they wanted to be ready. Remember, the Declaration of Independence says that the power of this new nation would be with the the power of this new nation would be
The people!
yes, the people, of course, the people. So they came up with a different style of government, a new way to rule themselves, which is strangely familiar to the Iroquois way of governing, like really similar. As you may already know, these 13 colonies actually were able to do the unimaginable, the unfathomable, the unthinkable, the unbelievable. They defeated Great Britain and became their own independent nation called called the United States of America. Good thing they had a constitution, a form of government ready to use. The rules for the United States were written down in a series of articles called the Articles of Confederation, our first form of a national government. And this form of government was feeble, fragile, wimpy, and flat out weak. Yeah. And that's how they wanted it. Weak. You look confused.
You weakling!
Let me explain. The leaders of this new United States thought that the British government, with their acts, laws, punishments, blockades, proclamations, searches, and seizures, had been too strong, flexing too much muscle and power over the colonies. So they made it so that the colonies, now called states, had the power to tell their national government no if they needed to. State governments having more power than the national government sounded like a great idea. This is what they had been longing for, and now they finally had it. A United States of America in which the states could do things their own way. No big mama national government trying to boss them around. Oh yeah, this'll be great. A weak national government sounded good. But things are not always as great as they sound.
You weakling!
Let's take a look at some of the weaknesses of the Articles of Confederation, shall we?
No thanks!
How rude.
The national government was just one branch, a legislative group. Right, to legislate as in making laws. This was the entire national government, a group of people that made laws for the whole country. They called this group Congress. And in this Congress, each state got one representative. It didn't matter how many people lived in a particular state, each state got only one representative to vote on and make laws. Take Virginia, for example. Virginia had the largest population out of all 13 states in 1787 at around 720,000 people, while Delaware's population was a measly 55,000 people. Yet, under this Articles of Confederation, Virginia and Delaware had the same power in making laws, even though Virginia had almost 1/3 of the entire United States population. Is that fair? I guess it depends on where you lived in 1787. Anyway, to pass a national law, it took at least 9 of 13 states to say yes. But remember, this first United States national government was what again?
Weak!
Right, weak. So if Congress passed a law for the nation, the states had the power to tell the national government no. Or in Spanish, no. Or in French, no.
You weakling.
There was no common currency. Currency is what we use to trade. Everybody must agree on what is used to trade in order for something to be considered currency. Today we use paper and coins for currency, and we can use that paper and coin in any state because we all agree it is worth something. There was a United States currency in print in 1787, but not enough people trusted it enough to use it. They preferred more reliable currencies, like the old-fashioned gold and silver. You can always count on people wanting to use gold and silver to trade. Back then, some states had their own state dollar. When states would try to use their own state currency, problems would arise when trading or buying goods in another state. I mean, how much is a Virginia dollar worth in Pennsylvania? How much is a New Jersey dollar worth in Connecticut? Hard to do business that way. The lack of United States currency that could be used in all states led to weakness number 3. Because there was no reliable United States currency to use in all states, some states would get into serious arguments when trading with each other. The nation needed someone to regulate or control trade between the states. You know, like a referee, someone to make sure everyone is playing by the rules. But you are correct if you're thinking that under these Articles of Confederation, the national government was too weak to keep things cool when states had issues trading with each other. States could just tell the national government to butt out. So, in other words, another weakness of the Articles of Confederation was that the national government could not regulate commerce. Oh, what's commerce? Commerce just means trade, but you knew that. Every time you've said the word commercial, you're using a form of the word commerce. When you're watching YouTube and you see ads or commercials, what are they trying to get you to do? Correct. Get you to trade your currency, money, for whatever good they are selling. Under the Articles of Confederation, Congress could not collect taxes. A nation needs money to grow and survive, and taxes are used to raise much-needed revenue. Remember, that's what the British were trying to do after the French and Indian War. When Congress asked states to pay taxes, the states often said that they could not pay. That's right, this one-branch government was too weak to force states to give it money. Now you can imagine that that would lead to all kinds of problems. Well, it wasn't all gloom and doom. Don't get me wrong, the Articles of Confederation was weak. But the Articles of Confederation did come up with some good things. For example, it was the first form of government, our first national constitution. Without a form of government, things would have been much, much worse. The Articles of Confederation also included the Northwest Ordinance. The Northwest Ordinance outlined the steps needed to be taken for a territory to become a state. Since not all of the land in the original United States was a state, there needed to be a way, a process, steps to add states to the Union. The Northwest Ordinance did just that. Without the Northwest Ordinance, we would never have gotten to become a nation of, 13 states, 14, 16, 25. Yes, a nation of 50 states. The Articles of Confederation also outlawed slavery in the territories. Well, certainly that is good. I wonder if this means the United States will end the evil practice of slavery once and for all. I mean, the Declaration of Independence does say, all men are created equal. Despite the few good outcomes of the Articles of Confederation, having a weak national government, a government unable to control its own states, was turning out to be not such a great idea after all. A rebellion of farmers in Massachusetts made it clear that change was needed. A Revolutionary War veteran and farmer Daniel Shays, like thousands of other veterans of the Revolution, could not pay his rent. So courts in Massachusetts did what they thought they had to do. They took away their farms, they took away their land, leaving the farmers high and dry. The reason Daniel Shays and others could not pay their bills was simple. The United States government had not paid them for fighting in the Revolutionary War. If the U.S. government would pay up, the broke, busted, and disgusted farmers could pay their rent. The U.S. government also was broke as a joke. Why, you ask? Because state governments kept telling them no when the United States government asked them for tax money. On top of that, when things got really out of control and the farmers, led by Daniel Shays, grabbed their muskets and swords and began shutting down Massachusetts courts and waging war on the Massachusetts countryside, the United States government had no power to stop them. No National Guard, no nothing. Wealthy people in Massachusetts had to put up their own money to raise a Massachusetts state militia to finally stop what became known as Shays' Rebellion. Now you know when rich folks start losing money, things have to change.
You weakling.
It was now more clear than ever.
Weak.
Either give the national government more power,
Weak.
or this young nation
Weak.
won't have the chance to become
Me.
an old nation.
You weakling.